Are your legs way more developed than your upper body? Well, want to balance things out? Watch this.
Our next caller is Riley from Georgia.
Riley, what's happening? How can I help you?
Hey, Mind Pump team. Thanks so much for having me on and everything you guys do to help improve the online fitness space. Really help my life dramatically and the lives of others. Really look forward to the content you guys put out each week. So thank you for that.
You got it.
Thank you, man.
So I've always naturally had large muscular legs. I played sports which emphasize lower center of gravity. Squatting came really easy to me, able to move significant weight at a young age, probably some genetic factors at play. I'm basically in the category of lifters that can catch a glimpse of someone squatting at the gym and suddenly their pants don't fit. I've tried to transition to kind of a trimmer, leaner, more functional, proportionate lower body. And despite very consistent work on my upper body, I've not really seen a balancing out in my physique. I never really squat nowadays, but do all the other core lifts, typically skip leg day pretty frequently, but you can never really tell by looking at me. I do carry a little bit of body fat at the moment, but even at my most trim, I still felt disproportionate. Wondering, is there a way to transition my lower body into a trimmer, more dense muscular structure, or even just shed size? Would you recommend squatting at all, higher rep ranges, or other training modalities instead? I feel like avoiding legs altogether is probably not the answer. But I would like to get a place where I feel more kind of symmetrical from an upper lower perspective.
Screw you, Riley. We don't help guys like you.
Yeah. Riley,
I thought that might be the response.
Riley, besides, okay, so you're saying is you got really big legs and then your upper body doesn't match your lower body, right?
Yes.
Minotaur syndrome.
Okay, and then do you store a lot of body fat in your lower body too, or do you store body fat like the traditional way that men do in the belly area?
I do store in the belly. That's where I notice it the most.
Okay.
I have had like caliper tests done, and they often like get a very small reading on my legs. So I do think I carry not as much body fat in my legs.
Okay, because I was gonna give you a different answer if you also stored in your lower body. In which case, I'd have you get your hormones tested. But if it's muscle, I suggest. Are you familiar with Tom Platz? Do you know who he is?
The name sounds familiar, but I don't think I can place the philosophy to him.
So Tom Platz was a bodybuilder, Platz.
Greatest legs ever.
In the 70s and 80s, known for having the best legs in bodybuilding, but he had this similar problem where his lower body, when he first started, just was far more developed than his upper body. But over time and over training, he was able to balance his body out quite a bit and actually became quite a successful bodybuilder. So I would read up on him and what he did to kind of balance things out. As far as making your lower body shrink, yes, any kind of strength training is going to keep your leg size. You can focus on mobility and flexibility in the lower body, which will maintain movement, but that'll also prevent the muscles from building. So you could simply strength train your upper body, and then on leg day, your goal is to work on mobility, stability, flexibility. So you're still doing something. You're just not doing any strength training.
Yeah, I would do like body weight stuff, like these long, like walking lunges with like a balance in between. Like I do stuff like that, or multiplanar lunges and stuff like that. Cossack squats. Like I would do movements more like that. Add a stability component in there.
Are you flexible?
Mm-hmm. Definitely could improve on that. Comes and goes, but yeah.
Even static stretching is fine, especially if you're not going to do heavy strength training for your lower body.
Mm-hmm.
Like really focus on getting really flexible in the lower body. That'll help with movement and the mobility stuff. And then in the meantime, focus on heavy strength training for the upper body. So a routine may look like, how many days a week do you go to the gym?
4 to 6, I would say, depending on kind of where I'm at in my program.
I would do, you could do 3 days a week of upper body, 1 day a week of lower body with core. And on the lower body day, it's like mobility and stretching.
Yeah.
I mean, you could do something like that and give it time. Over time, you'll start to see things balance out. But I mean, I hear what you're saying. I'm reading your question. You're saying that the first time you ever squatted, you could rep 225.
The first time?
Yeah. So, I mean, there are times when people just genetically, and yours is lower body. I knew a guy like this with his upper body, like with his shoulders. He was just crazy. And when you have this kind of genetics, like actually, in fact, I had a female trainer with legs like this, and she did long distance running and her legs grew. This is how sensitive her muscles
Same thing happened to me.
Yeah. So
I thought endurance training would be the answer. Couple half marathons, and still
they blew up.
Not surprised that they grew, but
yeah. So I mean, I would do flexibility, mobility, just to maintain movement, because you don't want to get, you don't want to lose movement and mobility in your lower body. That would suck. And then just strength train your upper body, and then give yourself some time. Give yourself some time. Do maybe a slow reverse diet. You wrote down your body fat percentage is 16%. That's not bad. I would maintain 16%, slowly reverse diet so you can build in the upper body, and give yourself like a couple years. Like try to gain, 5 to 10 pounds of lean body mass in your upper body to kind of balance those things out. But I mean, I hear what you're saying. It sounds to me like you're just the 0.1% of people, at least with your lower body, where it's just muscle fibers. Like they just want to be big.
Yeah.
Not a bad problem. Not a bad problem to have, Riley. Just to let you know.
No, I knew that was kind of the reverse chicken leg situation. I feel like is not something that comes around very often. But
I get it though. I mean, obviously, if you feel like there's a huge difference between your lower and upper, I mean, I think most people would want more symmetry there. But it is as simple as really backing off all of leg training, and the only thing you're really doing is addressing mobility and functionality, being good, able to move in different planes. Good range of motion, so all body weight type of stuff, and you're really not training it hard at all, and then just hitting the upper body consistently. So man, he also squatted in the 500s in high school. Bro, 225 repping your first time? I can't even. Took me half my life to get to that.
Adam can barely do that right now.
That is hard for me, bro. It's so crazy.
But yeah, look up Tom Platz. Tom Platz was like Branch Warren. Branch Warren is another bodybuilder. And if you saw him towards the end, you would never think that he was lower body dominant. But when he started as a bodybuilder, it was like, that's what he was known for. So I'll give you 3 bodybuilders: Branch Warren, Tom Platz, Paul DeMeo. Paul DeMeo's passed away, but those 3 bodybuilders all were known for having disproportionate lower bodies to upper bodies. But then towards the end of their careers, became very balanced. And so you can find articles and stuff about, interviews and stuff like that about how they balanced out their, and as bodybuilders, it's not like they wanted small legs. They just want to look balanced.
I have the opposite problem. My life, I had the small legs, but I had upper body developed. And so what my training has looked like for most of my lifting career now is that I never miss a leg day. So in your case, I would never miss upper body. And so if I've taken a couple weeks off, even if the last thing I did was legs, I'm starting again on legs. So I'm always thinking that way. And that's kind of how you would be. The reverse mentality is just like, hey, you never miss that upper body training. And even if you took a time off and that was the last thing you did, you still start back up again with that. Yeah. And so,
in fact, do you have MAPS Aesthetic?
Yeah. I do not, no.
Okay. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to send you MAPS Aesthetic, and here's how I want you to modify it. I'm going to have you do MAPS Aesthetic, and on the foundational days, don't do the lower body exercises except for one of the days. And even then, if you want, you could substitute the lower body exercises for just flexibility. So essentially what you're doing is mostly, if not all, upper body exercises on the foundational days. And then on the focus session days, you could do target upper body exercises, isolation stuff. So it's going to be mostly upper body type work. So I'll send that to you.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you so much.
You got it, man.
All right,
Yep. Thanks, guys.
I tell you what, though.
It's like, so I have this massive dick and I don't know what to do.
It's pretty much.
That's why I could understand.
No, it's funny because he didn't bring up the fact that he played hockey for years and years.
Dude.
Come on, dude. you know how much leg development hockey players get? That's all that contributes.
500 pounds in high school, repping 225 the first time you. Oh my God.
Have you guys ever seen? There's this sprinter cyclist for the Olympics.
Yes.
Have you ever seen these guys?
Yes, dude. I mean, they shake their legs and they're like,
oh my God, it's like humans inside each
big,
leg.
huge flesh.
But I mean, look, I get it because as a man, you expect a woman to be lower body dominant, right? For a man, it's not, and I hope I don't hurt his feelings, but it's not aesthetic. Well, it's going to be more aesthetic to have a big upper body and a smaller lower body. That's not ideal either. But from an aesthetic standpoint, I understand what he's saying. Is like, because if you're a man and your legs are big and you look like a pear, right?
Yeah.
You're going to be insecure about that. But
Yeah.
it'll take time. It's going to take him like 2 years.
That's
3
the
years.
thing. Decades of playing, like you got to like put in perspective, like how long of a period of just focusing exclusively on the upper body to kind of build and develop that to even come close is going to take a while.
Oh,
Totally.
I felt like it was at least 5 years for me of consistently having that mentality of never missing legs, right? So, and still to this day, this is how I have to think, right? Because I've put so much training volume into my upper body in comparison to my lower that if I am all falling off or inconsistent, I let arms and shoulders and stuff like that all the time I miss, but I don't miss legs. I got to squat. I got to deadlift. I got it. And so his it's just a reverse mentality. It's just that over the course of the next 5 years, you never miss that
neurotic about your upper body.
Yeah, and you know,
work.
You should see that I'm pulling it up right now. I'm like, you look at like Branch Warren when he won nationals versus when he won the Arnold Classic, and you can see he really brought his upper body up because he was so lower. So it can happen. It's just going to take time.